Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
where are we today?
I'm in San Francisco.
And I'm in Chicago.
Separate again.
Yeah, the fates have pulled us apart, but they may actually bring us together soon. Or maybe not. Who knows? Don't say why not.
And in the meantime, we have a movie about the Midwest to remind me about my trip to see you 2 weeks ago.
Next time you should come to visit me as the, titular character in the movie. Like that, like for 2 months, like crossing the states.
Well, I'll see you next year.
I will die of hypothermia when the winter starts. But yeah, so this is the Straightest Story by David Lynch. And why did you pick it? Because this was your pick.
I picked it because I was jealous that you had seen more David Lynch films than I had. I wanted to even... No, I mean, we just watched Inland Empire. That was the last of his films you hadn't seen. And so I was like, well, I might as well watch The Straight Story.
And this is the last one. Yeah. So the last time when we were talking about, when we talk about Inland Empire, I was saying that the reason why I didn't watch it before is because everyone told me, everyone told me that it was like so weird that it didn't make any kind of sense. That's the reason why I was like, okay, I'm going to be like putting it on the side. Maybe one day I will watch it. But what was the reason for you not to watch The Straightest Story? It's the opposite direction that everyone like told you is like, this makes too much sense, and it's like, I'm out.
It was so my journey with David Lynch. We actually had this conversation over text a few days ago about what our first David Lynch film was. Mine was Blue Velvet. I watched a number of his more accessible and shocking films, and I always heard he made this very straightforward G movie about traveling across the country on a lawnmower, and I was like, that's just not at the top of my list. It's just not.
Sorry,
I mean,
is a Walt Disney
masturbate in this?
A Walt Disney movie, Walt Disney Productions present a film by David Lynch, The Straightest Story.
It's very weird. Like when I was searching where can I stream this, it was like Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Place, and I was like, no, he really has a movie on Disney Plus.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, that most of the stuff that Disney Plus has is new TV shows and all of the licenses that they have acquired over the years. I think there is only like a handful of movies, and most of them are like Disney family movies. And this, is a, I don't know, like Disney family movie, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, did you have these sorts of movies on TV when you were a child back in the 60s?
Back in the 60s. Sorry, you mean like the 1860s or what? Yeah, you mean like the kind of, like the early afternoon network like TV for the family.
Or like Where the Red Fern Grows, all these like family friendly, like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Yeah, so you had this. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. This just felt like my childhood. It was like, it felt like going home.
Okay. So let's just go with like, you picked it because you wanted to complete also like your list, your bingo, your David Lynch bingo. Let me just summarize it and then we can start, because I got the feeling that we are like getting into the what do you think of it territory.
Yes, please summarize this movie. Go ahead.
I think that I can summarize it in one sentence. And you already said it. It's like old guy in a small village in what is the state? Because he was going to Wisconsin. And he goes from to the west, Iowa? No. Dude, there is only like 4 things that I need to remember about this movie.
I wouldn't have mentioned the state. It's a flyover state, one of the Midwest states.
It's like one of those that you forget that it even exists.
One cornfield state next to Wisconsin.
Iowa. It's Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely Iowa. I think they mentioned like prayer to sing. Yeah. So yeah, basically this guy lives in Iowa. He's pretty old. He's having some health problems. And then he receives a call telling him that his brother, whom he doesn't speak with for the last 20 years or 15 years, I don't remember like the number of years, he actually had a heart attack or something, had a stroke. Yeah. And he's at home, but he actually started evaluating that I should go to visit him. But as he's too old, he cannot drive. It would have been like a 5-hour drive, but he cannot drive a car. And his daughter cannot drive him. His other 6 kids that we don't know where they are or anything cannot drive him. Any of his friends cannot drive him. Well, one of them actually drives him to the hospital and they almost die. Well, not they almost die, but it's like, I wouldn't trust that person to actually drive me for 5 hours. So he decides, because logic, whatever, that he's going to be doing like these, I don't know, 300 miles, no, a bit more, like 400 miles or so. He's going to be like doing them in a long mower, like crossing.
Or at least.
The what?
At least it's a riding lawnmower. Like he can sit. It's
correct.
Yeah.
It's not like just pushing a lawnmower. Yeah. So basically the rest of the movie is a series of vignettes of the type of people that he finds on the Midwest. It's like from teenagers that they are running away from home to small families that everyone knows each other. And he spends like some time, like with each one of these people and just like learning about them. And then he continues his way. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, with each vignette, as you said, you learn a little bit about him and a little bit about the person or people he runs into.
Yep. I think that David Lynch is trying to just like paint like a picture of this, usually, as you say, fly over America. There is like no one paid too much attention to it, and just describe like a bit of the hidden charming of these people.
Yeah, so I mean, it's difficult to talk about this film without talking about Blue Velvet for me, because for me, these two films are two sides of the same coin. Does it feel that way to you? Okay.
Well, yeah, because I was telling my boyfriend that I think that a good movie. They actually recommended him that the first David Lynch movie that he should watch for getting into it was Blue Velvet. And initially I felt like surprised, like, oh my God, Blue Velvet. And the thing is like, look, as someone that lives in the States, is that you are going to be like resonating with the topics that he is putting on the screen. It's a bit more about like the American dream and a bit more of the suburban, more American dream about like the American picture of a perfect idyllic life. In this kind of very small villas that everyone knows each other, everything is good, nothing weird ever happens, and how things start like just falling through the cracks. Well, here is the other way around. It's like there is a bit of a weirdness at the beginning. There are like several scenes that you can definitely say, like, this is David Lynch.
Yeah.
The person that directed this is David Lynch. Like how weird the neighbor is, even if it's only 3 scenes.
Yeah, there were like characters that I was like, oh, this could have been from the music videos of the electronic album he did 10 years ago. But instead of being like really creepy, forgive the term, it's not politically correct anymore, but trailer trash, sort of creepy, like they're just normal people that you could find in the town I grew up in.
Yeah.
I read the New York Times review of this, so I'm super clear on how I feel about this. But I did just want to read 2 sentences. In 1994, an elderly man named Alvin Strait undertook a long Midwest journey ride on a lawnmower. It was an arduous feat, but not nearly as daunting as what David Lynch set out to do: make a slow-moving, folksy-looking, profoundly spiritual film that can hold an audience in absolute thrall. Lynch rises to the challenge with exhilarating vigor. And I was like, how did he do that? There's nothing exciting, but this is a super compelling film to me. I was not bored for a second.
Yeah, it's what we discussed at the end. Is that it has been 2 hours and some minutes, I think. if I recall correctly. No, 2 hours, 1 hour 52 minutes, and it's a movie that you can like summarize in 2 sentences. And it's still engaging. I think that the vignettes format, it works like pretty well. You have like an introduction of 30, 40 minutes, and then it's like the vignettes goes like from 5 minutes, like the one of the tears, like the woman that hits tears non-stop.
Oh, that was such a David Lynch character.
Yeah.
Every day, 40 miles.
Yeah. To the one that he's like with the John Deere engineer. That is a bit longer, that is like, okay, that was the what?
The twins that fixed his lawnmower.
That's Twin Peaks. That's 100% Twin Peaks. But yeah, it feels closer to what Twin Peaks is until it starts like going like full on Lynch.
You mean from episode 1 when that young girl was raped and murdered?
No, that's still not like full David Lynch part. That's still America.
Yeah, I this is an interesting film to me. I liked it so much more than I thought I would. I never thought it would be bad. I just didn't think I would enjoy it so much. And I found it very interesting that this is all my opinion, but I feel like David Lynch is interested in the ideas of masculinity and femininity, and he kind of puts those ideas into really interesting, bizarre situations and kind of weird, in my opinion. So it was really interesting to see him treat masculinity in such a tender, sweet way with Arthur, about how, he's clearly dying. They mentioned that he might have emphysema, and he hadn't spoken to his brother after a drunken fight 10 years ago, and he like verbalizes, I'm swallowing my pride because all I want to do is see my brother again. Like, it's just like the sweetest, most sentimental film without like tacky sentiment. It's just really, really well done. Very impressed.
Yeah. I think that I told you I have watched this movie and I like it. For me, it was like, this is a movie that anyone else could have directed, but he directed pretty well. And for me, it was almost like just flexing his muscle. It's like when they actually talk with someone, it's like, you do all of this on this style is because you cannot do anything any other style. It's like, yeah, I mean, I could. Here you go. There is a proof. Is that this and The Elephant Man, I just feel like they are traditional movies. You can see his style behind them, but it's not the kind of movie that they want to watch, that they want to do normally. And I still think that it's like, this is a solid movie. It's not like the movie that we will actually watch. I don't think that we would have ever watched this movie if it was not David Lynch behind it.
No, never. And I'm really glad that because he directed it, I watched it. And I was actually like, I was very impressed. There was something about this film that made me watch it from the eyes of like 8-year-old Blake. And this is like an adventure film, and I was so caught up in like, yeah, it's exactly like a road trip film where he has to cross a narrow bridge and it's very, very tense. And I felt like I was like, this is tense. This is a fun journey that I'm being taken on by David Lynch, and it's unexpected. And yeah.
What happened on the bridge? I don't remember. Oh, he's just like looking, staring at it, like at the ground. Yeah, but it's like, is that kind of a slow burn charm of he can project from this small scale of the story and the scope like a larger than life kind of thing.
Yeah, there's something that's expansive about this film in, God, I hate this word, in its spirituality, for lack of a better term. Maybe like existential pondering, or at least it's a meditation on what it means to be human. And I really felt like I was learning from this old man as I saw him. I don't know.
Yeah.
This film felt wise, where not many David Lynch films feel wise to me. That's not a bad thing, but this one did.
Don't you think that Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet are wise?
Did I learn a moral lesson from Mulholland Drive? No.
Oh, you didn't?
What did you learn from Mulholland Drive?
that is like, I'm part of my French, but it's like all of those bitches that they go within realistic dreams to Hollywood, they end fucked.
If that's a lesson you needed to learn, sure. You learned that from Mulholland Drive. Well
Dude,
done.
I like La La Land because it's the counterpart of that movie. So I like movies that they remind me, it's like, no, that doesn't work like that.
I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying when I think to describe those two movies, wise is not the word that comes to mind. That's not to say there's not wisdom, but this film feels different a little bit.
Okay, no, that's fair. I think there may be like wise in a more traditional sense.
Or maybe I admired Arthur Strait, and there's not many characters that are admirable in his films.
Alvin?
Alvin, yeah, I think I said Arthur. Right?
Yeah. Did you know that he was nominated for an Oscar? And he died.
I sure didn't.
He didn't get it.
But that's good recognition. That's a good performance.
Yeah. I mean, I like the cast. I like that also. Can we say who is the brother?
Let's not. Okay. Just in case this inspires someone to see it.
Yeah. But we see Everett McGill from Twin Peaks. I don't know if you remember that it was Big Ed.
As the mechanic.
Yeah.
I was very excited to see him.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, this is cute that he actually recasted him there.
So the main actor, Farnsworth, is his last name Farnsworth?
I think so. Yeah, Farnsworth.
He's been working in movies so long that he was a chariot driver in the 10 Commandments.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I mean, probably Gone with the Wind. He was a soldier in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, that dude was old.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he loved the video, I guess. I think at the races. God, that's crazy.
Can you imagine being in the industry for so long and then being like, however old he was, 120, and getting an Oscar nomination?
Well, to be completely frank, yeah, it took him a while to actually get like a role, you know, in a movie that it was not an extra.
Yeah, because he apparently was a stunt driver for a stunt. What do they call that? A stunt person?
A stuntman.
There it is. Thank you.
Like Lee Pace in The Fall.
Yes. Ooh. That's a good movie. I wish that was about music.
I was telling my boyfriend about it a couple of days ago.
Wait, has he not seen it?
No.
I have my next Chicago trip planned.
But we already recorded about The Fall.
That's all right.
So.
Right before we started to record, I pulled up David Lynch's IMDb page because I was like, there's no way. There's got to still be some David Lynch film out there I haven't seen. You know, like that's a hopeful thing. No, this was it. And I don't know that a year ago I would have called David Lynch one of my favorite directors, and now he's absolutely in the top 5, 100%.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. For me, it was always a director that I really liked that I discovered when I was in college, and I watched mostly everything except this and Inland Empire. Well, and Wild at Heart. But
You're
now
welcome. You're welcome.
Sure. I wish that I could return it. But I agree. I think that this is a director that even like with more time is going to be appreciated as this has been unique. It's like all of the stuff that he has done is like super high quality, but it's not only that. It's about like he used cinema as a window into his mind, and the stuff that it was there, it was extremely unique.
I agree, and I would happily visit his mind at any moment.
Yeah.
Let's go over the questions, but I want to ask you one question, and I'm only inviting this specific comparison because we just watched these two films, but which one did you enjoy more? Sorry, Inland Empire or the Straight Story.
that I enjoyed more, not saying like which one I think that is better, but I enjoyed more. This was way easier to digest. This was like a trip, but it was a trip like really well crafted. Inland Empire was a trip, but it was like a bad trip from mushrooms.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I don't know which one I enjoyed more, and it pisses me off. I should like Inland Empire way more, but I'm like, they were both really enjoyable to me these viewings.
Yeah, but it's like, the thing is, the straight story is something that anyone can enjoy. This is what I was saying, is that I'm not removing any kind of merit from it, but it doesn't give me the same vision that he usually has, like the same tools that he has at his disposal, and he's unique using them. This is more of he's an amazing director. He doesn't use his usually convoluted narrative for coming up with some kind of crazy topic. He's just telling you a story, a straight story to you.
That reminds me of an interesting thing I read specifically about the straight story that I wanted to ask your opinion on. As someone who was not born and raised here, do you feel like this film loses anything if you're not very familiar with the ideas of Americana? And I don't know, is it too steeped in Americana to be broadly appealing in kind of the way like that Brazilian film where like we don't get any of this?
That's fair, but the problem is that that film Bacchanal,
yes,
something
it's
like
very
that, or
close to
Baccarat, yeah. But that one, I think that the problem was that they were trying Bacurau. That film was trying to play also with some historic reality. There is nothing about history in this movie. It's a bit more about the human component, about like how those people truly are. I just thought, now that I've been living here for a while in the Midwest, I just think that, they are just trying to display Midwest people, that they are different from California. But before I moved here, I just thought most countries is that you have a different type of people on the villages than what you have in the cities. Usually people on the villages, they are more helpful to each other. They are, more nice, more, how do you say, like land on salt of the earth.
Yeah, more community oriented, trustworthy. Okay, good.
So well, it translates.
But I just read something that I was like, I wonder if this doesn't make sense to a non-American. I mean, you have lived here for longer than a decade, but yeah.
Well, but it's also about like the movies. We are familiar with the concept of a road trip, is that everyone knows about road trips. It's like if you have watched Thelma and Louise, for example, it's that you know what a road trip is. So is that
if Gaio hadn't have done the Motorcycle Diaries, would you?
You wouldn't know what is an authentic road trip.
Okay, all right, now I understand.
So we all know the format. We all know that it's about like people that you meet along the way. It's not so much about the destination, but in this case, it's the destination. As you said, it's like each one of the stories, it gives you a bit more about him. It's that we get to know other people as we know them at the same time.
Yep.
So I think that is a pretty well painted, that even if you don't have like the exposure to that culture, is that you understand it. I mean, it's like, it's like other movies that we have watched from other countries. The other day we were talking about Burning, that it takes place in Korea, and it's also about like different social classes. We are not Korean. I have never been in Korea. I don't know about you. In South Korea.
But I guarantee you I lost a lot of cultural implications.
That's true, but it's like I just
so much so I saw that as a movie about a man being framed as a serial killer.
I think that's a bit more about like your white American part, but whatever. So the poor guy is being accused. Dude, that's just wrong. But we did. It's true. There may be like some nuance that we may miss, but the movie is not built around you have to be familiar, like really familiar with the reality here. It's like if you know it gives you more. It's like that the Galician movie that we watched. What Burns?
Oh God, that was a good movie.
Yeah. What is it called? But you know which one I'm talking about. That one, it was like I explained you like a lot of the historical context about it, but you could have missed that part. Just knowing that the guy was an arsonist and he came back to his old village, to his old mother, it was enough for enjoying the story.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's the same here. It's like maybe I'm missing like some stuff from, hey, you weren't living here in the 90s in the Midwest, so. But yeah, one thing that I have to applaud of this movie is like the uses of dive bars, because I was in love with each one of the bars that they went to. It's like I would be there. I would definitely be there.
Yeah, I was like, I'd like this life as like an Airbnb weekend getaway. Like, take me to the cornfield. Let's go to the quaint dive bar.
And you can repeat like 20 times, like, how authentic. This is so quaint.
Speaking of that, did this film remind you at all of Night of the Hunter?
Both of them got road trips, and they have like a series of vignettes.
I swear that David Lynch just saw that movie and he's like, how can I turn this into a Disney film?
I can imagine like the pitch. It's like I don't know who would be like the director in Disney Studios. And he's like, so we have David Lynch on the phone or here in person, and he comes with the pitch of I want to do the Night of the Hunter, but for the whole family.
For children. For young children.
Well, I mean, the Night of the Hunter had children, probably traumatized until they died, but...
Yes, but it wasn't made for them.
Probably not. That movie is not child-friendly, that's for sure. This one it is. There is nothing wrong. Did you realize, like a fun fact that I read about is that the vignettes is that they start with a really young girl, like this teenager that is running away from home. And it's like, as the movie progresses, is that the rest of the vignettes, all of the people, they become older.
Don't tell me that. This movie is too beautiful. I don't want to know.
Well, I mean, but it's not bad. I was reading, I don't know who was like the other screenplay writer.
Oh no, what I'm saying is it's a beautiful metaphor about him progressing through life and how we can all learn so much. It's lovely.
Yeah. I think that the screenplay was like, yeah, that was not intentional. But it's a happy coincidence.
I like it.
Yeah. No, it was cute. And it's funny because we mentioned several times, this may be like one of the few movies that he didn't write at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's not part because, for example, it's like I think that in Dune he wrote it, he adapted it, and Wild at Heart he also adapted it. It was based on a book, I think, no? Wild at Heart.
I hope so, because I'll read that immediately. Also, for all those listening and are subscribed to the Criterion channel, Dune is leaving the Criterion channel in April, so watch it while you can.
or not, it's up to you. It would be funny if it were to be replaced by the Denis Villeneuve one. There is two most of the Villeneuve one. So sad. It's like, this was all about dream. This never happened.
Except the Criterion channel has to call it Dune Part 1.
Oh my God.
Trailer.
That was like the shittiest marketing ploy ever. I still feel pissed about it. It's funny, we didn't talk about the daughter. Did you like her?
That's because it's not appropriate. It made me very uncomfortable.
By today's standards.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not even that offensive. It's just we don't typically do that this much.
Yeah. I found a bit surprising that he was so heavy-handed in some aspects, like when he's narrating like what happened with his daughter, and then we see like a flashback of the daughter seeing like the kid on the street like picking up the ball. That is like, okay, we got it. That's the reason why she was so sad.
But I can forgive that, since this movie really was made for children. Children do need things spelled out a little bit more. Like, sure, if he was talking to the same audience as Mulholland Drive, don't spell it out for us. If this is not even PG, this is G, then yeah, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old might need that extra little.
This is G?
Yes.
Oh my god. Who would have thought that David Lynch would have...
David Lynch has a G movie that's not a short.
Yeah. I wonder if The Elephant Man was PG.
Yeah, and that does have some tense moments. I would have been scared as a kid.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, should we go over the questions?
Yes, please.
Would you watch that game?
Yep. Today. I would watch it with my husband if you wanted to. I'm not going to watch it alone today.
Okay. I think that I will watch it again. I will still give it like, some time to rest. Like 1 year and a half, maybe. Yeah. Would you recommend it?
Yes, to anyone, surprisingly. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not often I would recommend a G film to anyone.
Okay, that's the thing, is that I would recommend it, but I don't know to whom. Because it's that I would recommend it to my parents. I mean, maybe if it's playing, or if I see like on a list, I'm like scrolling through Netflix, I would say, oh, this is a cute movie, maybe we should watch it. But I don't think that it's going to be like popping in my brain like, hey, this is a movie that I should watch. Because if someone asked me about David Lynch, I would definitely recommend other movies. If someone asked me about like, hey, tell me like a movie to enjoy with the family, I would say A Christmas Tale.
Me too, Jose.
I know.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas this year, and it's not Scruff Pro. Criterion
Thank you.
For Christmas.
No, I think that I would recommend The Fall, for example, as a family movie.
The Fall? Oh yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this film transcends being a genre film. This is not just for kids. This is just a good movie. It's a good example of how to do a movie. So I would, especially if someone was like, hey, I've seen 2 of the David Lynch films, I really like him. I'd be like, oh, if you like him and you want to check out something that's a little bit uncommon in his library, check this out. I would recommend it in lots of situations. Yeah,
I mean, the other day that we were talking informally about like what is the order of movies that you recommend someone else to watch from David Lynch, I may recommend, if they are not like too much into pretty weird stuff, maybe I could go with a start with a straight story. If you can tolerate family-friendly movies, then jump to Elephant Man, and then just jump to Blue Velvet or to Twin Peaks to the first season.
I think that's a waste of time. It's like, hey, do you like the straight story? Well, he never did anything else like that. Do you want to watch somebody get high and sniff at Isabella Rossellini's vagina? Because that's the next movie you'll see.
No. You jump to the next. Okay, we're going a notch at a time. Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying that's misleading. I would never recommend Twin Peaks because the first 5 episodes are boring as hell. And
what
you're asking somebody to invest like 6 hours before there's anything interesting in David Lynch's universe? No.
Twin Peaks is fucking amazing. Like the first season, as someone that grew up in the 90s, is fucking amazing. And is
I grew up in the 2010s, so I have no idea about the 90s.
Sadly, you have no idea what you're talking about, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that I may give it a try, honestly, about like if someone asked me about like, oh, David Lynch, I heard a lot about it. What should I watch? I will be like, just give it a try. This is not representative. It's not a representative movie, but once that you get into the rest of the movies, you are not going to want to go back to watch a family-friendly Walt Disney Presents.
I am going to start a Fiverr account. I'm going to find somebody who hasn't watched any David Lynch films and pay them to watch all of them.
So a Fiverr account just to punish other people.
And I'll just see, like, would you have rather started with the lawnmower movie or the one about the dead
The lawnmower movie? The lawnmower man. I don't know, man. It's like, if we remove like that potential scenario, I don't know exactly if I know enough people for playing this movie for. Because if I'm talking about kids, I will be playing other Walt Disney movies, like animated movies. This could be boring as fuck for kids.
I hope that's not true. I honestly thought I would have liked this film as a little boy, but I could be wrong. And I don't know. I feel like Blue Velvet is as middle of the road as it gets for David Lynch.
As you said, it's like someone is smelling Isabella Rossellini vagina and just asking him to call him baby. No, it was baby. Baby's fine. Yeah, God. Yeah. That movie is disturbing. It's not middle of the road. It's fucking disturbing.
No, I said middle of the road for David Lynch. I'm just saying, there's no rabbit family that's never explained for 3 hours. There's no...
Okay. No, that's fair. There is no twist about like everything was a dream or maybe not. Who knows? Now there are different people deal with it.
And there's no Nicolas Cage. I mean, it's middle of the road for David Lynch.
That's true. Okay. I think that I would recommend it if someone asked me about it. Otherwise, it's more about like the type of people that I talk with. I don't know who I recommend this to.
All right, that's fair.
Would you remember it?
Yes. I'll probably be able to give a 2-sentence synopsis in 1 year.
Same here. I remember exactly what is the premise. Lawnmower, he crosses a couple of states to see his brother, and I remember who the brother was. I bet he's in a screen like for 30 seconds, like, oh yeah.
We should put a calendar reminder in 1 year. Just ask me, who was the brother?
That, without even telling you the movie, it's like, just tell me who was the brother. Cool. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yes, for one, that music, gosh darn, that was a good soundtrack.
Was it Badalamenti, you know?
Yeah, yes, it was. It was very Twin Peaks-ish with a little bit of like folksy bluegrass. Yeah, the acting was incredible. I think the writing was great. Even Sissy Spacek's performance. I mean, not that she's not a good actress, but it's very good performance. And I think just the filmmaking in general, the direction is superb.
Yeah, no, I think that the direction is what I was telling you, is that this is a movie that it could have been easy to direct without putting effort. And he actually put a lot of effort into it. Is that you see that he's the one that did this direction. Everything is in premises. All of those villages, they exist.
I mean, I'm sorry to keep quoting the New York Times, but the way they wrote about it, Lynch rose to this challenge with exhilarating vigor. I honestly couldn't describe it better. Like, it's just good job, David.
I think that he put more effort on this movie than on Dune and Wild at Heart combined.
Next question, please. I will not engage with you. Wild at Heart is a good movie, and I'm going to tell Laura during next month when I see her.
Just tell her. I'm pretty sure that she also agrees that it's like, yeah, that's not my best movie with Little Bit Lynch. Is it a timeless piece? The straight story, no Wild at Heart.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. It's a movie that it takes place in 99 or 98. Even if they had a phone, it's more about like the craving of that in-person connection with someone that you know that your life is like coming to an end. So
I didn't realize it was supposed to take place in 93. I thought it was like the 50s or the 60s. But anyway, keep going.
Oh, well. Okay. I didn't know that it was 93. I thought that it was 98, like the year before it was released.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, you're right. I misspoke.
Yeah. Would you turn it into a TV show?
No. I think this movie was perfect in the format it was in.
Yeah, me neither. I think that you have the format there for every episode. He has a stop, but then it's like every episode is one stop and every episode is 30 minutes. It makes no sense because some of the vignettes, they last what they need to last. I don't want to see like 30 minutes with the bicyclist.
If it was some experimental format, like I say this without any irony or joking, like if it was a good web series, I can see how they could release a 15-minute episode every week. But no, I wouldn't do that. I would keep it together.
Could this have been a short?
No.
And I don't think so, that you can do this in less than an hour. It's fine. It's 1 hour and 50 minutes.
This is it's a movie 100% about the journey. I mean,
yep.
We could have gotten to the destination faster, but it would have been less pleasurable.
I think that it would have been less pleasurable if it was shorter, from the perspective that is like we want that slow burn of seeing him in his okay. Seeing him in his habitat, seeing him like developing his character and meeting other people, and the other people, they feel partially archetypes about like they are here for just the runaway teenager, the super stressed out woman in the middle of nowhere, the cyclist, that they are like super random in here. You have like the family that is completely settled down. It's almost like just getting to destination.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a fairy tale. Not a fairy tale, but like a children's story in that way.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think this movie could have been better?
I can't point to a single glaring problem. There weren't any, so I would say no.
Yeah, for me, this is super solid. Is that there is nothing that I would have changed here in any way. So we score?
Yes, please, because my dog wants to play, so...
I can hear it. So this was your pick. So I guess that this is my score.
Yes, it is.
And I'm going to give it a 7.75.
What the
Well, because I gave an 8 to Inland Empire, and I don't want to give it as much as to Inland Empire.
What did I give to Inland Empire?
You gave to Inland Empire a 9. I'm
giving this a 9. I'm very, very confused about my experience watching these two films because I loved them both. But I think I enjoyed Inland Empire more, but I think that The Straight Story is technically a better film. Anyway, these are the thoughts going through my head.
I think that there is a lot of effort in both movies, but I appreciate, that this score is not about being like 100% objective.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that Inland Empire tells me more about David Lynch as a cinema maker than The Straight Story. The Straight Story tells me that he knows how to make a solid movie. Inland Empire tells me that he knows how to make what the fuck are you doing here?
He knows how to make me have nightmares.
With rabbits. And Laura there like running to the camera with a distorted face.
I'm so scared.
That's But I really like it. I wish that I should have scored like higher in like Empire for giving it like a higher score to this. But for me, it's a good movie. If someone does like a list of 100 movies, I don't think, 1,000 or 10,000 best movies, I don't think that The Straight Story would be there.
Of 10,000? I'm sorry, there's no way I'm going to list 10,000 movies that I'm going to give them more than a 9 to.
Okay, 1,000 movies.
That's fine.
Okay, but it's more like because no one is going to remember about it.
Yeah, and that's why there's like, I hate this word, but there really is a gravitas to Inland Empire that just doesn't exist for this, and it makes sense, but
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it. There is like from the perspective of Everything Everywhere All at Once or Amelie. It's not that transcendental. Not that it's bad, but you said it's like you enjoyed watching this. You were in for the trip, but that trip, I don't think that is going to be like a staying with you.
In this conversation, it's reminding me of spring, summer, fall, winter, and spring again. In that way that it's like there's nothing so like dramatic or there's not this huge conflict, but it's such a good movie that you just want to stay in it.
Well, but I would say that the Kinky Duke movie is holy shit visually.
Yes, it's true. They're not the same. I'm just saying. In that, like, it's not exactly that memorable. Like, there's not memorable scenes, but the experience for me is memorable.
So you're telling me that there is no memorable scenes, like when the guy is like just training martial arts during the summer, or the slow motion of the winter, like completely frozen the lake with the temple in the middle?
I don't remember that. The only specific scene I can remember is when there's writing all over the deck.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. That's the specific scene.
Okay. That's fine. I think that's an incredible movie. I think that it's
because
a fine
they just
movie.
Stop being friends with me.
Yeah, I think that you chose a very interesting movie to compare these two. You know, but whatever. We all have our tastes. I think that this is like a better version of EO.
Of what?
Of EO.
And this brings us to the end of our podcast.
Did you like that? At least those two were road trips, you know?
Okay.
Oh man, so what are we? This was your pick, so
it was my pick. So it's
your
turn.
Yeah, I don't know why it has been like taunting me every single time that I open HBO Max, and I've been meaning to watch it with my boyfriend. A movie that I would say why exactly, but I want you to watch. I know that I don't usually force you to watch animated movies, but I want you to watch The 90s Short Walk On Girl.
All right, I'm ready.
That's just one single title, The 90s Short Walk On Girl.
I was very confused when you texted that to me. I was like, which one? I don't know. I haven't seen either of them. Just pick one, Jose, and tell me.
Exactly. That dude, you cannot abuse of this. I give you one. But yeah, looking forward to hear your opinion. Looking forward to it. Let's just say.
It'll be a surprise where we'll be.
Sure.
Or
not. Who knows?
Or not. That's the surprise.
But we will talk about it one way or the other. Anything else to say about the Straight Story or anything?
No, go watch it.
Yeah?
After you watch Inland Empire.
Go back in time to 99 and then just go watch it. And to all of those people out there, thank you so much for listening to us.
Wash your hands.
Bye.